Good afternoon, traders. It is Friday, June 24th, 2016. The U.S. stock market is closed. I apologize for the lateness of this video. Obviously, it's been a very busy day and historically quite significant, I think. Um, Yesterday when the Dow was up here closing on its high, I said blood is going to flow in the streets. And I basically said also on the day before yesterday that Brexit was a done deal. The British were going to vote themselves out of the European Union, and this was going to collapse the market. I am amazed that very few people seem to get that. People seem actually, obviously, huge numbers of people were very surprised at what happened last night uh, when uh, the the United Kingdom exited uh, the European Union. Seemed to be a big surprise. It was no surprise to me. I said back here 2 days ago, the thing that really convinced me that there's no way that they were going to stay in the union is I read comments that Queen Elizabeth had made to her biographer, indicating that she favored Brexit. It was very unusual for the British monarch to comment on political situations, but nevertheless, it was clear that that was Queen Elizabeth's wishes. That was publicized certainly widely in the British press, and I didn't see how the British were going to vote against their 90-year-old queen. And I decided that it was obvious back here 2 days ago this was a done deal. The United Kingdom was going to exit the European Union, and this would collapse the market. And so when I was talking yesterday about there being blood in the streets today, it just seemed very obvious to me. I have a confession to make. I don't do this very often. I hate trading breaks, but I basically stopped trading my own money and the managed money uh, last Monday because it just, these stocks were telegraphing to me that Brexit was going to go through and the United Kingdom was leaving European Union. So this was not a time to be trading real money. So what I'm reporting here is how the system did, and I do plan on resuming real-time trading sometime next week, but I'm going to watch it on Monday. I want to make sure that we're done with this. Well, anyway, you can see what happened. The Dow, after making 200 plus points yesterday, it fell 610 points today, and it was quite significant because overnight I stayed up and oh, we had the results of Brexit. I think about 9 p.m. my time, uh, so I didn't have to stay up very late, but as knew what was going to happen. I could see in the futures market, the aftermarket, that the Dow was down about 500 points in the aftermarket. And this morning, it did in fact come down here. I think it got down to about 540 here. And then it started up. And I think a lot of people were thinking about um, the crash back in August of last year that the Dow made a low on this first bar, and it never came back to that low. Months later, it never came back to that low. That was it. The buyers came in, and the buyers who bought down here made a lot of money. I think people were kind of anticipating that today, as this thing came up very quickly in 45 minutes after the open. But when it comes back here and takes out these lows and made new lows, ending up closing down here 610 points, I think that's giving a lot of people some pause to think a little of just where this thing is going. And I do think there is a possibility that the Dow could go lower. I have, if you've been watching my videos, I have been hoping to get down around 17,000. I think that might be an ideal place to consider starting trading again. But I just, I'm just speculating now. I don't know what was going to happen. I basically, I'm going to call it up for Monday. I think we'll get a bounce out of this, but it may not. That may not be the bounce that takes us up to the 18,000 level. That may just go down, take out these lows, and go lower. I think that's a real possibility. I don't think we're done with this yet. Now, let me just say, uh, I think I think the United Kingdom is going to go into a recession, and much of Europe is going to go into recession as well. It may not be a bad recession. It may not last very long, but I think uh, clearly uh, there's been some pretty serious damage here done to the financial markets in Europe, and they're going to need a little time to recover. I think I saw the DAX was down 7%. We're down about 3.5% today. So our really, in spite of how horrible this looks, our markets really aren't in too bad of a shape. And I don't know if the United States will go into a small recession here or not. I tend to doubt it. I think we're going to see maybe a rough week next week, and then things will turn around. And possibly things will turn around after a couple days next week. But I think Europe is going to be in for a little tougher time. And of course, if Europe's having trouble, we could have some trouble too. So I'm just going to be watching it here. Um, but the system just got killed in this. Uh, Yesterday, uh, we had the Dow up over 200 points, closing on its high. I mean, that just, the stupid money is just buying and buying and buying yesterday. And it was the same thing in futures and in the British pound and everything else. People just did not think that Brexit was going to go through. And I just can't believe how they could be so stupid. But it happened. And so a lot of people got caught up here with their pants down, including our system. I don't know, we had some positive, I think $4,000 positive up here. This morning, when this came down, that went to negative 60,000, over 60,000 at one point. It did come back, and we got out with negative $45,000 in losing trades. We had 21 positions. Every single one of those 21 positions were negative. There's not a positive one out of 21. We did get into 5 new positions. Most of these are inverse markets and gold, so they weren't really so affected by this, and we actually are holding positive about $2,000 over the weekend in 5 positions going into Monday. Yeah, I have a lot to say, and I can't really say it all. Honestly, I'm encouraged by this. I think we needed this. We really needed this sell off in the Dow. We were just getting killed up here at this 18,000 level. I would like to see stocks drop down to that $17,000 level, and I'm going to be a lot more comfortable trading when they get down there. But we'll just have to see. Still don't know if they're going to get down there or not. I'll show you just a few the stuff that happened. This is, as I say, we had 21 positions. This is typical of what happened. This is Navistar. We bought that yesterday, right out of the gate. It had closed positively on the close, and then this morning, we get this huge gap down, and we're knocked out there. And by the way, that get out point really isn't too bad when you look at that chart. We probably got out of there about as good as we can get, but we lost $3,000 there in Navistar. I'll show you the worst one we had, and this is Grek, which is tied to the Greek economy. You might expect anything that's tied to a European market really did bad today. We had bought this, yes, we actually had a gap yesterday, gap up. We buy the gaps. We actually closed with a profit with Grek, and then, of course, this huge gap down this morning stopped us out right away, and that took $8,000 out of the system anyway. The system was killed for $8,000, pretty bad. And finally, I just to close on a somewhat optimistic, I will show you the one good trade the system had, and this is an inverse market. This is LABD, which is inverse biotech. And of course, it gapped up this morning. We got this nice pullback, bought it right there, and then it kept going very nicely, closing almost on its high. And that's showing a positive $3,000 gain there. So that's what happened. I am pretty upbeat about this. I think this is going to be good for our trading, and I do expect that we're going to start making some pretty decent money. I don't know if it's going to be as early as next week, but it's coming up pretty soon. We got, we kicked these stocks down where they become decent buys, and I expect to be making money on the long side pretty soon. Anyway, that's the way it went, and quite a week it was. This is Trader Bob signing off. I will be back here on Monday.